Hello and welcome to New Forest Morphs. Today we're going to be giving you a little tour of our hospital facilities, which are in our house outside of our main facility. And we've been treating one snake we've imported with RTI, and we're going to go through our method of how we're treating her in the quarantine area, and we'll show you what we do and what's actually improving. She's improved a lot. We'll show her health, and Jad will show us how to diagnose her as well. But before we do that, we've had some good news. Some new hats have come. So Jad has ordered 2 new hats, and I just wanted to show you those. The first one is, what's this called, Jad?
It's a snapback.
It's a snapback, and we're selling them for about, what, £10 plus postage and packing?
Yeah.
So if you'd like one of these beautiful hats, let us know. Drop a comment to us on Facebook or Instagram, or you can send us a message on YouTube. And this is the new one, which I like for fishing. I'll just sport it for you so you can see what it looks like. And it's all done, is it all stitched up nicely, Jad?
Yeah.
So we've got some stitching on there. So there you go. And again, this one's similar price, £10 plus shipping. I think I'll wear this one today, Jad. Do you want to wear the other one? Which one do you prefer?
These look terrible on me, so
Jad likes those. I like these because I'm a fisherman, and what these do is it kind of keeps the sun out of your eyes, so it looks pretty cool. And then Jad can wear that one. So what we're going to do today is, first thing we need to do before we treat this snake is we need to get some blitz out. So let's get some blitz out, and I'd like to put a little bit of blitz at the bottom of. Now this is the Fogger rub. It's quite a big size one, Jad, isn't it? And where did you get that from, Jad?
I just ordered it online.
Just ordered it online. So we've gone for a big one to cope with any size ball python. Jad's drilled a hole in here. Can you see the hole in here, Jad? You've drilled a hole there. Mm-hmm. You did drill a hole down here before for the nebuliser, but the nebuliser really wasn't working very well. And you can see down there, we've got a nebuliser down there, but we've replaced it with one of these, which is the one that we featured on our channel. We've imported it from the US of A, and it's called Digital Timer Humidifier. And it's about £100, £80 plus shipping, I think it was.
Yeah,
it took about 2 weeks to come from America. The only thing I will say is make sure you got one of these plugs, because the American plugs, you need a converter for UK use. So you want to get one of those as well. But I'm super excited about it, because since we've moved across to the Fogger, we're getting a result on this girl's improving big time. So we're going to just show you the method. Now, the actual, what we do is we put down a bit of blitz in the base first, and we disinfect every time we use this. This is fully disinfected, just in case we need to use it for another snake. Then we can obviously treat it in different ways. So you don't have to treat it, you can use this, besides RTI, you can use it just to put more humidity into a snake. If it's dehydrated, problem shedding, you can use this Fogger not just for F10 Antiseptic, which we've got over here, which is what we're going to use to treat the RTI. You can also use it for as a means of putting more humidity into a snake. And we found that the girl that had the problem had problems shedding as well, didn't she, Jared? And you'll see that. But the Fogger, not only does it treat the infection, it also treats the body, so that if it's caught in shed, the shed will come out a lot easier. So it kind of moistens up the snake. So I put a couple of those in the base, so that gives a little bit of comfort for the snake, a little bit of a more comfortable position. And you want a rub that has these handles, so you can clip it into place when it goes in. There's the hole there. Now you drilled a hole which is slightly bigger than the actual machine here. So if I show you the machine, now it has one of these. When it comes out of the box, it's really easy to construct. If you come down with me, Jad, I'll show you how easy this is to construct. So if I show you these parts, so there you can see is where the water sits, and it produces these bubbles, and it pushes it all the way up and creates steam. So it must heat the water, and then that sits on top. This sits on top of here, so all the Fogger comes through here. The water sits in this vessel here, and that sits on top. And it's got these holes that you can pour your water in, so the whole machine can carry on working. It's got a timer, it's got different controls, so you can set the amount of fogging that's coming out of here. But I love it, and I said it's a beautiful design, and this was very easy to fit. You see, this came with a tube here. So that's how it came. All I had to do is put the tube on top of there, like that. That sits on there. I've left that firm at the end there, so that when it goes into the hole it doesn't crease. And I've left it firm at the base so you don't get any bending. But the idea, Jared, is if it goes up like that, you can adjust this. This has got like an adjuster, so you can push it in. It's like concertina. And then it means that you can adjust it to exactly the size of where you're going, okay? So maybe give it a bit bigger there. So that's that one. So before we go any further, we need to show you how we mix up the solution. So we're going to treat this snake with F10 Antiseptic. And what I've got here is to do this, these are all the tools for our hospital here. I should show you what we've got. We get 2 bottles here of 90-degree water. If you can use RO water, or what was the other water you had?
Distilled.
Distilled water is better because it takes out any chemicals. So it's pure water mixed in with the F10 antiseptic.
But this is still good.
But it's still good. So, and I made sure these are 90 degrees so that when you're actually fogging, you're not cooling the snake, you're giving them warm vapour effectively. And so what we do is we start with a 1 litre bottle and we pour in a little bit of this water to start with. I always like to start the situation off with some water. So maybe we'll put 1 in there to start with. So there's no F10 in there at the moment. I'm just going to put 1 in first. So I think this takes 2 of these little half litre bottles. Will give you 1 litre. I think there's 2 of them in here. Am I right, Joe?
I think so.
It looks like there's 2 of these will do it. So it's half filled. Okay. And then I use a syringe for accuracy. So now let's go to the F10 antiseptic. There's the one that you get. That was about 11 or 12 pounds. Took about a week to come. Where'd you get that from, Jared?
Amazon.
Amazon. Now it's 200 ml and it's concentrated, this one. So check before you do your proportions. Check to make sure you've got the concentrated version, which is cheaper. And then you've got to dilute that. I'm trying to remember how many parts, Jared. Is it 1 to 250?
Something like that.
Can we just have a quick look?
1 to 250. Yeah.
So it's 1 to 250. That means for every, that's 1 to 250 millilitres. That means that if there's 1,000 millilitres in there, and that does 1 to 250, 250 into 1,000 is 4. The ratio is you need 4 millilitres of F10 to 1 litre of water. So here what you do is you squeeze the chamber. See the chamber up here? If you squeeze it, you'll see it will go up.
It's already full.
It's already full up. So you take that off and you'll see inside you've got your concentration. See that? In there? Then you take your syringe and you make sure your syringe has been disinfected and clean. You don't need to be putting any contamination into this at all. The whole idea is it's got to be completely sterile. So use a sterile syringe. Get it out. That's struggling to come out, Joe. Let me just put that down. I'll do it one thing at a time. There we go. That's come out. So there's your syringe there. So you start in the low position there. That is 1 millilitre all the way up to there. Okay. So you go to your chamber that's open. I don't know if you can see that, Jared. See what we're doing? You go to the chamber and you pull up 1 millilitre to there, and it creates a vacuum. So all the fluid's held in there, and you put it into the bottle, and you do that 4 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 1 more. 4. So that's perfect concentration. Okay. Keep that nice and clean for future use. And then what I do next is I add the second bottle of water. Now again, that's nice and I can feel the temperature on that. I've also, part of my hospital kit is to have a spare one of these, so you can check temps. So the temps around about, outside it's about 80, inside, let's see what's inside. Yeah, it's about 83, 84, which would be fine. So you want it to be between 80 and 90 really to be comfortable for the snake. And it will be cooling down all the time, so it started off at 90, it's dropped down to 84. We pour that in nice and steadily and carefully. Should take us not quite to the top, but close to the top. I don't want to go too high up. Just want to go up to the edge of the lid there. that goes in and that's mixing as it goes. Almost done. Of course, make me want to go to the toilet. I'll have a pee, please, Bob. Look at that. That's absolutely peachy perfect. Okay, I'm happy with that. So it doesn't have to be absolutely to the top. I think that's a good parameter there. And then I just put the lid on it, and I don't give it a massive shake. I just give it a little turn, so at least it allows the solution to mix into the water. So it's not a massive shake, just enough to get that ready. Okay, so that feels good. So the next step is to, you could open that lid now, Jared, but I don't bother because I can pour this into here. Now with this system is that if you run out of water, it has an automatic shut off valve. So you're never going to be cooking air. You're always going to be protecting your, very quiet. You'll see how quiet this runs. The nebulizer was very noisy, wasn't it, Jared? Yeah. And it was only giving out a very small, thin feed, which I don't think was enough. This we can adjust to the level that we think the snake needs. You start low and build up. But this won't take too long to fill this up. And a whole litre can go in here if you want to. I think I will put the whole lot in there. And you'll just see, once that's in, you won't have to change that for quite a while. But there you go. So the vet recommends doing 20 minutes in the morning in the fogger, and then she sits in there for 20 minutes after we switch off, and then we do the same in the evenings. So twice a day is what the vet recommends. What I would say to you is don't necessarily follow us, follow your vet. But this is working, and I'm really pleased. It's a lot better than the nebulizer approach, and I wish the vet had kind of got us onto the right fogger. But you know, they do the best they can. They're not always going to give you the. You've got to refine your process. You've got to always constantly look at how can we improve, how can we improve. So this is all good to go now. So what we will do next is we will inspect the snake, see how she's doing. And Jad, I'm going to switch with you because we've got a special card here. Brand new clean card that we don't use, bank card. We'll push that to one side. Jad's going to show you how to open up the mouth of a snake, and then we'll see how she's doing. So you can see that
she just shed a little bit.
She's just shed a little bit because that's what the fogger does. It wettens, moistens her up. Now Jad's going to show you her mouth.
So what you want to do is take 2 fingers here. And go either side of her neck and one on top. Yeah. And get a good grip because they will fight you, and it might feel like you're hurting them, but you're not. And you see her mouth's already started to open. Yeah. I take the credit card and I slide it.
Get it in focus, Jack. Hang on. Make sure this is in focus. It's not in focus yet. It's in focus now. Yeah.
I slide it in gently.
Yeah.
And she lets us open. Now, did you see?
Did you see anything?
Yeah. Did you see the saliva as I opened it?
I didn't, but the camera safely caught it.
And there's a little bit of saliva in there, so she's on the mend, but she's still got a bit.
Yeah. Okay. So she's actually behaving really well. Well done, Jad.
We'll put her down.
Okay.
And try not to stress her out.
That's it. That's it. So the next step is to move her into the rub. Nice and carefully does it. In she goes. Well done, Jad. And then, do you want to take the lid? Put the lid in her. So how is she feeling now? She's comfortable. Clip to clip. Right, Jad, back to you. Thank you, Jad, for showing us that. So for 20 minutes, so Jad will put his timer on his phone, and the timer will go off. Now look, she's already, can you hear that? She can hear her just a little bit of heavy breathing there. So she likes the fact that she's in a nice deep rub, because what they will do naturally is they will stand up on their heads like this, and they'll start to allow that fluids to come out. But in a very small rub, they don't get a chance to stretch their necks out. So it's important that if you have a snake that you've imported with a problem, stick it in a decently sized rub. And I must say that there's a heat mat underneath here as well. We haven't shown the heat mat. And the temps, Jared, are 33.5, which you might think is more than you expect. But of course, that's the heat mat. The actual process goes through, so we get a 90 degrees hot spot, and we find that's really helpful. The other thing we check is that the humidity level is at 56 at the moment, so you want one of these devices to check your humidity level. So the next stage is you put the you put the pipe in through the hole into the gap. Now, because it's not perfect fit, you could probably get a better fit than that, but we've gone a little bit over the top.
Yeah, I made that one to fit this one in. which is a bit bigger. So.
Oh, I see. So what we do is we basically use this to help fill in the gaps. So what I tend to do is I kind of wrap it round a bit of tissue, and then that way, you see that, Jack?
Wedges it in secure.
Just wedges it in. Now you'll see that I like it from the bottom up because there's less kinking. If you have it from the top going down, this is going to kink and you'll get less fogging.
It's like a filter on a fish tank, isn't it?
Yeah. So we're all good to go now, Jad. So do you want to come around this side and I'll show you the control panels, because there's actually 4 controls. So this is the off-on button here, down the bottom here. See?
Yep.
And let's see whether it will start now. I'll give it a chance to warm up. It'll start to heat up and you'll start to see. Oh look, Jad, now have a look and see what's going on here. Look. You see it?
Yep. And I'll set a timer for
20 minutes. 20 minutes. And then you can see the girl in the back there. She's actually likes it now. To start with, she didn't like it, but she's getting used to it. And I think she actually looks forward to it because she opens her mouth and takes that in. Look, there she goes. Look, she's coming up now. See, she's got her mouth right on it. So she obviously values it and appreciates it. She knows it's doing her good. So this is where you have to follow your snakes. The snake is the barometer here. So we're going to have 20 minutes of this. Now you'll see within literally a minute, what took the nebulizer nearly 15 minutes to get to, this gets to that position within a minute or two, Jared.
Yeah.
So much more effective. Now this is breathable, so it's not going to get too much in there. But you can monitor it and see, check her behaviour first, because if she is stressed out, then obviously you'd stop and you'd give her love and comfort. But you'd monitor it. If this is your first time doing this, I recommend standing by her for the whole 20 minutes. Oh, what was that?
There's a bottle.
Oh, it was the bottle. I thought we had a... Okay. So look, now look how foggy that's getting. Now the other top tip, Jared, is just so she doesn't get stressed out, I do this, which is I take a little blanket.
Or towel, either
towel. And because you don't want to stress them out, and it's effectively a great big hide really, is I just do this. I literally just put that over the top, like that. I always give myself a chance to look at it still, but that would just give her an extra degree of comfort, and I think I'm really happy with it. I hope that's been helpful. If anyone has got any animals out there with RTI issues, obviously get a vet to look at it first. But these simple techniques are going to be very useful going forward, because if you do ever get any issues, you'll know what to do, at least have a go with the support of the vet. And Jared and I felt uncomfortable a few weeks ago doing this, didn't we? And now we're getting used to treating her. We actually think that we see the improvements, and we think the key is humidity is the key, because the snake's natural defences are kicking in, and we don't feed our snakes when they're going through this situation. We let them rest, because all their energy, as the Jedis teach us, must go into healing, and this is a healing process. So you find that if you create the right conditions for your snake that's ill, now of course you can use this technique for other ailments besides RTI, because if you've got a dehydrated snake that's having a problem shedding, you don't necessarily have to give it a bath. You can use this technique, because she had problems shedding, didn't she, Jared?
Yeah.
And you just noticed that it moistened her up, and you could gently help her with her. Yeah, it was lovely. I mean, so I actually think this is fantastic. It will probably cost you about 150 quid for the setup. Obviously, you would treat it away from all your other snakes, because RTI can spread.
That's why we're in the home that's getting renovated at the moment.
Exactly. So. Yeah, we're in the process of doing some renovation work. So this is our little hospital area. The other good news is that the snake that had mites is clean. We've checked that. Next week, if they're all clean, then we're going to be taking the other imports into our collection. So you can see why it's important to have 2 facilities, a hospital for extreme problems and a separate quarantine area for minor issues. So I think that's about it for now. What we've also found, Jared, there's 2 other ideas that we're going to do to help on the preventative side. And this Fogger is so good, we're thinking about what we're thinking about doing with the Fogger, Jared.
I don't remember, but the battery's about to die. So.
Okay, well thanks for watching. We shall see you next time. Enjoy the video, put any comments down that you feel, and we'll share those 2 other tips with you next time. Bye bye for now.